Hello, everybody. Welcome to the week 3 design tools lecture. It doesn't feel like it should be that long, right? We're going to go ahead and get started on here. I'm going to mute you all just in case. If you do have, if you do have any questions, please make sure that you put it into chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. Sorry about last week. Excuse me. I had a last minute internet connection issue, and by the time had any chance of doing anything about it, it was like an hour later. So sorry about that. I hope the recording that from a previous I think last month answered your questions. But all right, so let's go ahead and get started today. Today we're going to basically talk about Excel. So if you watched the videos, we have some stuff about probability and all that stuff. Well, let's put this into kind of, I guess, a useful tool here. All right, so we have Excel, and Excel is one of those things that kind of is, how should I put it? It's used everywhere. And by the way, yes, the thing is scheduled for an hour, but we will probably be here longer. That's just default. It'll run as long as we need it to. So, yeah, I don't have anything up on screen quite yet. So here, just to make you more comfortable here. So Excel is one of those things that is used everywhere. In basically every industry out there, everything from I don't know, how should I put this? Everything from the most simple things to the most complex, and of course we use it. We use it in the game industry a lot. We do all kinds of things like use it for data entry or time management or just any number of things. And pretty much if you've done anything more than just like the base level person in an industry, you know that you use it, right? Maybe a mechanic may not use it, but people working with them probably do. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go ahead and fire up Excel here. So I'm using Excel in Windows mainly because there are one or two things that don't quite work on the Mac side. I believe the plugins don't actually exist on the Mac side for some reason. I haven't checked in a little while, so one of these days I may boot over and check it myself. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to actually start off with a blank workbook here. So this is a modern version of Excel. When I recorded the videos, the video for this was, I think, maybe a year or two ago. Same information still applies, but this is the new version, and pretty much why I have the question and answer session, so I can update stuff without having to re-record the whole video. Jessica, the reason why we don't send you a Windows laptop is because we have, you'll need to be able to actually learn on both the Windows side and the Mac side. I stay on the Windows side because all the programs that I have, I know are working on the Windows side. Later on, you'll get people on the Mac side that want to use the Mac side, and it'll get you more familiar with that. And the more things you're familiar with, the better off you'll be. Because, let's say one day you get a job and they're a Mac development office. Okay, so they use that, and if you know how to use the Mac side, you're cool with that. Most of you have already kind of grown up with Windows, so it's not a problem with that. You can learn to use that even if you haven't. Um, some people say Alienware laptops are awesome. I'm going to tell you, no, they're not. They're overpriced pieces of garbage. Uh, from first hand and third hand and second hand or whatever experience, yeah. Yes, Jessica. I can do that. This is live, so yeah. Actually, Joshua, Dell bought them a few years ago. Yep. Even before that, they were still garbage. So, yep, I do the same thing. I build my own machines. For laptops, I just, I have my own personal Apple laptop. That's why I like it because it's reliable. So, all right. So let's uh let's go ahead and look at a few things here. All right. So here we have Excel. Again, it's like the video I showed you, the video that's part of the assignment. Not much has changed. We have a new ribbon bar here at the top. It pretty much works the same. Down here at the bottom, the shape of the sheets are a little bit different, and it only starts off with one. But you can still sit here and rename them. You can still add ones to. Excuse me. You can still add to it. It still has things in columns and rows, and it still has the formula bar. There's not a huge amount that's different about it. It has the way it draws stuff is a little bit different now. So if you remember from the video, I show you how to go through and kind of take things and kind of do the autofill. Where the old one, if I did this, it would immediately fill it out. I don't know if you can see it on the GoToTraining stuff here. It does have a low frame rate, but now instead of just making it all appear very quickly, it kind of draws it out. And it's doing that intentionally. Uh, because, well, for one thing, if you do a large amount, it kind of dispenses with that. So this is kind of a visual thing to help you see what's going on. All right. So let's go look at a few things here. Of course, we have the you saw how I did this. I took, I just ran out 1, 2, 3 here, and I highlighted it all. So I selected it all here, and I go down here at the corner and drag it down. Sure, this worked in the last one. That's fine. Of course, this one also worked as well. So if we drag this down as well. That works fine, just same way. And this does too. I don't think I actually showed this in the video what I'm gonna do here. So 2016. So I don't think I showed you in this one or in the previous one. But what's really cool is that we can actually deal with dates and it automatically fill them out. Now, one thing I want to show you here, you'll notice that it's coming up with these pound signs here. Yeah, that's not hashtag. Get off my lawn kind of thing. So what's happening is that it's saying, okay, this is not big enough. These cells aren't big enough to deal with this. But it does actually properly deal with dates, times, and things like that. So let me go ahead and scroll over here. Oops. So you notice it dealt with that just fine. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with my user interface here. Yeah, the autofill, I didn't learn about the autofill for the longest time. It's been, I think I learned it about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, because I would always just hand filled that stuff out. Yeah, it's kind of silly, but yeah, like Maya, you just continuously learn on these things. All right, so it does that. It also does things like, You know, Monday, and then do that. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, there's all these little things that it does that really makes our life a lot easier. Let me go ahead and get rid of this here. So, the same way it did last time, if you right-click and use clear contents instead of delete. Oh, I didn't get it all. So that's the best way to clear this out. If you hit delete, it's going to try to remove those cells as well. So we don't want that. All right, so let's look at a few different things we have here. Sorry if you see my stuff scrolling down. That's me trying to use my scroll wheel on the GoTo training stuff. So chat window, try to see what's going on here because for some reason it's not auto scrolling. All right, bear with me a second here. I'll close a few things out so I can get a better size on this. Cool. Uh, what happened? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the auto scrolls. Yeah. It's kind of stupid. I think that's something that they changed recently, which really is annoying. Give me a second here. Let me see what I can find in settings here. Preferences. Uh, chat bubbles, right structure, guys, precision. General? Start up. Huh. Sorry, I'm looking through the settings here to see if this will uh, allow me to change this. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, oh, you don't have to censor that, Joshua. I completely agree. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about a few things. Um, First of all, let's talk about the assignment. I have it labeled as a test only because that's the only way I can get some of the functionality on there. So it's not really technically a test. I don't like doing tests a lot. I only have two. I have quizzes, uh, but those are just to make sure you've, excuse me, read through the vocabulary and looked at it and understand what's going on because vocabulary is very important. Without being able to talk, you know, about what's going on, you just have a really difficult time. Basically, the only way I could get the multiple questions on there to make sure you knew how to do is to set up in a test. So don't panic on it too much. All right, so let's talk about some of the questions on there. So the first one is, yeah, well, it's a term. It works out. Rage quit is, you know, a term that we actually use in the industry, and um, there are very few games that it's good to have a rage quit on. I mean, like something like um, Dark Souls. That's perfectly fine. That's the intended thing to happen on Dark Souls is to have a rage quit. Yeah. So, but it also can kind of describe a failure of the gameplay as well. So, um, so let's talk about the assignment here real quick. Actually, if you can give me a second here. I am going to pause my screen here for a second so I can pull up the assignment. Um, you should still be able to hear me. All right, let me go and pull that up here. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, I won't. So a long time ago, before I did this, I worked in a uh, call centers. So, so I know very specifically not to do that. All right, bear with me just a second here to get through to the section we need. All right, there it is. All right, preview. Yeah, I used to do tech support years and years ago. All right, so let me go ahead and start this screen again. There you go. Wait for your stuff to catch up. All right, so here we have the test. Um, so our first question here basically says, so we have a class of wholesale master's degree in game design. All right, so if you remember, just to make sure um, we get some terminology down here. A class is your group. So all of you guys here are part of a class. So you guys are um, I don't know when you guys will graduate, but if you all stay in the same time, you are a class. Uh, you are currently inside the course that is called Design Tools. So um, just keep that in mind. So the class is your cohort. Uh, uh, no, it's not. Not 5%, and it's not constant. So early on, you're going to drop people. Later, as you move through, you're going to drop less and less as you get people who are ready and who are willing to try. Um, so people that are here live and people who watch the recordings are typically the ones that make it through because you're actively trying. So right here, basically it says we have a 5% failure rate, and the rate is highlighted here per month. So basically, once a student fails, you drop out of that. It says out of the program, but you really just drop back. Um, so there are 12 months, obviously, in the year, that degree. So we're going to start off with a cohort, a class of 100 people, and every month we're going to remove 5% to the whole student. All right, this is important because, well, first of all, uh, what happens if you partially fail a class or a course? You should think about that. What happens when you partially fail a course? No, actually, Jessica, if you partially fail a course, it means you passed, right? So you partially failed. It means you didn't get 100%. The only way you can completely pass is to get 100%, right? But if you partially failed, it means you did better than a complete fail. So that's kind of the way I think of it. Or if you want to be a little bit more, um, how should I put it? I wouldn't say clean, but if you want to be more messy, we can talk about partial students. Yeah, so yeah, a partial fail is anything less than 100, right? I mean, just because you got, a 95, it means you failed 5% of the course, right? Or you didn't get 5% of the grade, right? So what we're talking about here is that uh, we'll lose 5% of everybody that's left every month. All right. So from there, um, one of the things that we need to do is we need to make sure we're only dealing with whole students. All right, so what we do is, we do our typical math. We find whatever 5% is, and then we take that and we do what's called truncation. Truncation is where you take a number. Let's say we have a number, let's say we have 1295, right? So what we do when we truncate this number is we literally just drop the 0.95 and now it's 12. Think of it as always rounding down no matter what. Yes. Uh, so this is truncation. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to find out whatever that 5% is, and then truncate any of the, the the messy parts of a student off, that 0.95, so that's like a hand or something like it of a student, right? So we get rid of that before we subtract it from the list of students. Now, I know some of you think about, oh, hey, you know what I'll do is I will multiply it by 0.95 and then remove the extra part. Here's the problem with that. That makes how should I put it? It acts more of a roundup when you subtract that off. So it kind of gives you the wrong set of numbers. And all three of these will give us very distinct numbers. It's really funny because, random's actually involved in two of them. So, all right. So that's one thing you need to remember with the first one. So we're removing 5% to the whole student every month. All right. First month is easy because that's just 5, right? So go from 100 to 95. After that, we start getting into, partial students where we start removing stuff. And eventually it'll get us down to 0, but it's not going to it's not going to do that very long. All right. Remember, I want you to calculate this stuff with Excel. Don't just do the math in your head or on a calculator and then write it in. That doesn't count. I want you to sit here and try the exercise itself. One of the things you might want to see here, so let's say we have this number here. So let me go back to the 1295 here. So we take that and we want to truncate that. Well, there's a command called int, int. Basically, it truncates it removes that last part. So it says it rounds down to the nearest int. And that's what happens here. All right, and it's done programmatically. It's not part of the format or anything. It's actually done. So 1295, it could be 1301, so that'd be 13. Or 495. You see how it's working there. So it's always going to the number below it. So 4.001, 4. Cool. All right. So remember, find what the 5% is, truncate it, and then subtract it. And make sure you show your work. In other words, have it done in Excel. And please make sure you turn in your Excel spreadsheet because that's how we give partial credit. So if you do everything right up to the last thing, and that happens actually more often than you think, someone forgets how to find the percentage of something. Right? They get everything else right, but then they booger that up. So we take that into account. We make sure you see what you're doing and then try to kind of give you some points for it. Because we understand. All right. Not all of us are monsters. All right. So let's go ahead and clear this out here. Gregory, we can talk about the Twine 2 assignment. Let's get through this first, and we'll come up with that. All right, so let's go ahead and clear the contents of that, and let's talk about the next one. All right, so the next one we're going to talk here about is, well, the second question here. So you're going to roll 4 20-sided dice. So one of the things, and I'm not sure that I showed you in the video, it's been a while, is that it's important how you roll your dice. All right, so let's say, let's go ahead and reduce this down to 2 6-sided dice for now, just so it's easier for us to talk about. And in fact, I will show you that. I'm going to show you some math here on Excel. The reasons why we need to do the way we do. All right. First of all, if you're rolling more than one die, you need to simulate each one of those die individually. Now you think, oh well, I can do a RAM between 2 and 12 for 2 6-sided dice because that covers all the numbers. And while technically it could possibly get you all the numbers, the problem is the probability doesn't work out. All right, so think about it this way. Let's look at the possible ways of getting a value. All right, so if you think about it, type into the chat window here, how many ways do you think I can get a 2 out of 2 6-sided dice? Basically, what you're going to do is when you roll, the only way to get a 2 is to roll snake eyes, right? So you have 2 6-sided dice. Give me a second here. All right. Give me 1 second here. Well, we're talking about it. All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me get sat down and get everything set up here. Had to go get the D&D dice here. All right, so I'm going to turn on exactly. All right, so I'm going to turn on my camera here for a second. All right, let me pick my nose first. No, just kidding. All right, hello everybody. Okay, so give me a second here. All right, so I have some 6-sided dice here. Let's go for the blue and the purplish blue ones here. All right, so I have 2 6-sided dice. These are kind of like the dice you've kind of known all the time. Instead of the dots, it actually just has the numbers on them. So, um, 1 second.
Muted. Unmuted.
Can you guys hear me? Because apparently, yeah. Cool. Sorry. Apparently you decided that I didn't need audio, so. No, we lost someone. All right, so let me go ahead and wah wah. Okay, so here we have our two six-sided dice. Yeah, I know you're used to the ones with the dots on it, but you know these are cool too. Uh, so let's look at how many ways we can get a 2 with six-sided dice, right? Because we can't get a 1 because there's no 0 on a six-sided die, right? So there's only one way to get a 2, right? That's this way, right? We're gonna we're gonna get snake eyes, basically. That doesn't work on this kind of die because we don't have dots. So, but yeah, uh, there could be a 0, but most six-sided dice don't have a 0. They start off with 1. But we're talking standard six-sided dice. So, all right. Another one is, how many ways are there to get a 12? You're like, duh. It's only one way, right? So a 6 and a 6. So 2 6s. Yep. Yes, called boxcars. Okay. Yes, we can roll 2 6s. Now, how many ways is there to get a 6? Well, a 6, it could be a, let's see, where's that 5? Could be a 5 and a 1. Wow. I'm looking at the window, so a 5 and a 1, a 4 and a 2, right? 4 and a 2, or a 2 and a 4. It doesn't matter. They both will be two different ways here. Yeah, let's see, a 3 and a 3, obviously, right? That one doesn't double, though. Yeah, there are a lot of ways of doing it, aren't there? So, the thing is, at the very edges, there's like one way to do it. And as you move in, it kind of peaks up a little bit. So I'm going to actually prove that to you in Excel here, how the randomness works out. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to turn off the webcam there. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to kind of run a simulation here. And you're going to run it both ways. I'm going to run it the proper way and the wrong way. So let's start off with the wrong way. All right, so this is the wrong way to do it. Ran between 2 comma 12, right? So that's 1, and then I'm going to take this down, and we're going to use the law of large numbers, or you could call it the Monte Carlo simulation or whatever. So let's go ahead and go down to, I don't know, how about 10,000? Why not, right? 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, almost. There's 10,000 rolls of the dice. So you notice how quick that was, right? So we've got 10,000 rolls of the die. And again, this is the wrong way to do it. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to scroll to the top here because I am impatient. All right, so next thing we need to do is we need to create a list of possibilities. All right, so we could start off with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So these are all the possibilities that we could have. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a histogram, and I'm going to show you the kind of distribution of numbers here. All right, so let's go ahead and start with this. All right, we are going to go to data, and we are going to go to the what if analysis. I'm sorry, not what if analysis. We're going to do data analysis. So this is the part that possibly won't work on the Mac side because I'm not sure if they have plugins yet. So if you followed along, actually, let me go ahead and show you how to do it on this newer version here. So normally the tool that we need is not available. It's not installed by default. So let me go ahead and show you how you install that here. So what we do is we go to the Files section here, and we're going to scroll down here and go to Options. And Options has brings up a window here, and we're going to go to Add-ins. So we're going to go along the left-hand side. There's a kind of a tab here, and we're going to click on Add-ins. All right. So what we need to do is we need to scroll or go all the way to the bottom here where it says Manage, it says Excel Add-ins, and we're going to hit Go on this. All right. From there, you're going to need to make sure you check Analysis Tool Pack. So this first one, don't do the second one, you don't need it. All right, so we're going to choose Analysis Tool Pack, and we're going to hit OK. And that gives us some stuff here in data analysis. All right, from there, we're going to go ahead and click on the button here. It may take a little bit for it to install the stuff, so just hang in there. Once we're in this data analysis, we're going to go to histogram. So we're going to click on that and then click OK. And that's going to pop up this window. This window allows us to fill things in. So our input range here, we could click this button and go select it all, but that's a lot of selecting. Instead, I'm going to type it in. So A1 colon A10,000, 10, 1, 2, 3. All right. So that's the whole thing selected there. Oops, I hit enter when I shouldn't have. All right, let's try that again. So nice thing is it keeps it there. All right, and yeah, it's, hold on a second, let me cancel this and undo. Because I didn't want to do that. Ah, that's cool. What it did was it just immediately created one here. Another tab for us. So let's try this again. All right, data analysis, histogram. All right, A1 through A10,000, that's cool. And our bin range in this case is B1 through B11. All right, so we've got that, and we're going to go down here. We're going to new worksheet apply and call this wrong way. All right, so I've done that, and I'm going to go here, and what I want is to chart the output because numbers are cool, but printing is better. Pictures are better, right? So once we filled that out, so our range here, all right, and our bin range right here. And our new worksheet is, what we call it, and then chart output. So what a histogram does is it takes everything and categorizes it. All right, and this second here, this bin range is how we're going to categorize it, right? So we're going to take these random numbers and count how many there are. Or we're going to count how many 2s there are, how many 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12s. We're going to do that, and we're going to come up with the numbers, and then we're going to graph that. All right, so I'm going to run this here. I'm going to hit OK. And it create a new one here. So wrong way. You'll notice how that's pretty solidly the same, right? It shares pretty close among these. I mean, we can even look at the numbers. They hover between a little over 9.5, well, 967 down to 800 and something, right? And that's pretty solid. So let's go ahead and do this again. I'm going to take these numbers and instead, let's see, I should be able to duplicate. No, okay. All right, so right now we're doing it the wrong way. So let's go ahead and fix that, and we're going to do this the right way. So the right way is to do two separate randoms. So 1 comma 6 plus rand between 1 comma 6. Helps if I can type. In between 1 comma 6. All right, so I've done that in the first one, and what's really cool is if we click on the first one and then we double click on the little square here in the corner, it copies it all the way down for us, all the way down to the last one. All right, so let's try that data analysis again. So I can click on data analysis, and hit histogram. And I'm going to hit OK on this because all the data is still there. And actually, I'm going to change this from wrong way to correct way. And I'm going to ignore the caps lock. All right, so I'm going to hit OK on this. You'll notice here, now we got this nice triangle here. If we had added more dice, we'd have a nice bell curve happening. It's very handy, and you'll notice here that when we do it the correct way, we get the proper distribution. Because remember, the first and the last values had the least ways of doing it, right? So obviously those would come up less, right? And of course the middle one, 7 here, is going to have the most because, well, there's a lot of ways to make a 7, right? We can use every single one of the numbers on the dice for that, right? 6 didn't work out too well, or worked out less because, well, 6 and whatever is always like more than 6. So yeah, so we do that. Yeah, and this kind of proves what's going on here. This also kind of brings up the whole thing of, well, random isn't terribly random on a computer. It's what's called pseudo-random. And by that, I mean, yes, it means fake random. It does a pretty good job, and most of the time it's fine. There are very few times that it doesn't work out. Uh-oh, sorry, hold on. And we've lost it again.
Muted. Unmuted.
Can you hear me again? Better? Cool. Yeah, that's kind of odd. Shouldn't be doing that. All right. So this whole the whole thing is kind of important. So like I said, we use what is called pseudo-random number generation, and that's what it sounds like is a fake random, and it works out for everything, but how should I put it? Security. Because if with the right information, we can replicate the random numbers. But for games and everything else, it's just fine. There are other ways we can generate it through hardware, and we could go everything from a really expensive nuclear or radioactive material way of doing it, all the way to putting a piece of tape over your webcam. Both are just as effective as each other. So, all right, so let's go ahead and look back at the count here real quick, or the thing here. So we roll 4 20-sided dice. So if that roll totals to 20 or less, again, importantly 20 or less here. If it rolls 20 or less, then we're going to roll 2 more 20-sided dice and then add that to the total. All right, the rest here is example, right? So this part's example, and then we're going to take, we're going to do this 10,000 times. So when you're doing one that has a bunch of repeats, the best thing to do is to do them all in a row. So if we're going to roll four 20-sided dice and then do some stuff to it, it would be best to do it this way. Rand between 1 comma 20. All right, and we're going to do this. We're going to do 4 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we do those, and then we'd add them together, for example. Equals sum. So we take all these values here, and we add them all together, right? And that gives us the total here. And then we do our check. If this is less than or equal to 20, right? Then we do, then we roll 2 more dice, right? And add it. So we do that. Otherwise, we just bring that number forward. So we take, E1 plus rand between. So we're going to do 2 of these here. Between. And we hit comma to look at the false value. If this is false, I mistyped something here already, I see. This is false, we just want to copy that value forward, right? So E1. All right, so we're going to copy that forward. And I'm going to fix, yes, Excel, I know. There's a problem with my, this is not the television channel. It's the cell. All right, so we've done that. So if it's that, we're going to roll another one here. So this is 30 here, ends up being 30, so we stay the same. So let's run this a few times. So I'm hitting Control equals. Command equals on the Mac if you're using the Mac side. You're going to see what my look is like here. Right? Get a little gambler's fallacy, right? It's got to come up sometime, right? Yeah. Close. Yeah, obviously I'm having a really bad night with this, so. Wow. Wow, there we go. Finally got one. Yeah, I must have done it like 30 or 40 times. So yeah, it works. Now, the reason why I showed you to do it this way is because we're doing it in a row, and then, yeah, exactly. Uh, so once it's in a row like this, it's a lot easier to copy it down, right? So I can easily do 30 just like that. If it was going down this way, then I'd have to do like 6 or 70,000 repeats. Yeah, and then it wouldn't be easy to figure out what the yeah. So, and then we find the average of all these values, and you'll see that number, and you'll know like, yeah, that's right. If you watch any, if you've ever watched Hitchhiker's Guide or Monty Python, not Monty Python, yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide, you'll know you're right. All right, don't say the answer if you know it. So, all right. So that's the second one. All right, and let's go and look at the third one here real quick. So the third one, this one has some extraneous data in it just to kind of throw you, right? Uh-oh, is it dead again?
Muted. Unmuted.
That's so sweet of it. Cool. All right, so question number 3. All right, so if you look at that, it has a little bit of extraneous data to kind of kind of get you going on that, or to throw you for a loop. It doesn't matter. So really the important part is we are going to we're going to roll. Sorry, we're going to flip a coin 10 times. And if you get 4 heads in a row, you win. All right. If you make it, you're basically, if you hit all 10 and don't get a 10 or get 4 in a row, then it's a loss. Yes, a two-sided die. Oh, do I have cool, I have the webcam on. Yeah, two-sided die, right? Not a perfect one, but it's close enough. Yep, money. Yeah, so we're gonna check for 4 in a row. And the best way to do that is to use binary operators or binary math for this. So let me go ahead and jump in the new one here. Hello, computer. All right. So one of the things that I'd like to do here is you have a choice. You could use heads or tail, the H and T or whatever you want for it. But if you go ahead and do this, so if in between 1 comma 2 or whatever you want equals 1. If you do this and go ahead and create a true false, oops, what did I do here? In between true false. Oh, duh. Sorry. My programmer brain is firing up. So yeah. All right. So now we have, true could be heads and false can be tails. So if we do this 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 flips there, right? And if we did this, and equals, use a binary operator that checks to see if everything in it is true. Wow. Actually, if we do this, do that, and it will give us a true false depending on if these first 4 are true, all trues. So, of course, it would have been nice to have that first one again. Let's see if we can get this to work. There we go. Now you'll notice these first 4 are true, so this returns true here. All right, so what's really cool is, well, what we need to do is we check these first 4, and the next 4 we need to check are these 4, right? So we're going down one at a time. And that whole kind of drag it down actually works here as well. So we need to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this would be the last one we need, group of 4 we need to check. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we need to do 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's really cool is we click on this, we can look at it. We see it ends at J. Um, oh yeah, I've got the automatic light on. Okay, so, all right. I should have probably separated these off here, but um, you know what, I'm going to highlight these here real quick. Um, and we're going to paint them yellow. So these are the checks for 4 in a row. All right. The important thing is that we need to then check to see if any of these are true. So if any of them are true, it's a win, right? Otherwise, it's a loss. So, and it's possible that you could have 5 in a row, so that would generate 2 trues. Well, we only want to count 1 because that's important. So we could use another binary operation that checks to see if anything is true. Oops. Bear with me a second here. Check to see if any of these are true. Hey, look, we have a winner in here. So there's 1 right there. So this ends up being true. So it's false because they're all false there. True. All right, so once you've done that, then you just copy it down and find the number, right? So out of 10,000 times, how many times did it happen? All right, so this one will actually end up being different than if you hand calculated it. So that's kind of a difference between what math says and what the computer generates through random. All right. Any questions on the Excel stuff? And we're going to go back to the Twine 2 assignment here real quick. All right, so let me go ahead and scroll back here and see who had the Twine 2 assignment question. Oh, Gregory had that question. Sorry. All right, now's the time for your Twine 2 question, Greg. If you want, I can unmute you so you could, talk to us. Instead of having to type it all out. You there, Greg? Yeah. Sure. Garden Starwood. Okay. Go ahead, Jessica. What's your question? Again, I can unmute you if you want. Okay, 1 second. We'll try. Uh, all right. Yeah, I have you unmuted. It's on your side now. Yeah, the Mac has a built-in microphone. So yeah,
Okay, awesome.
cool. There you go.
Uh, so on the story, we're supposed to have 10 different branches. I assume that would be where we would write part of the story and it would go either left or right, and then the further down the story it goes left or right again, or...
Actually, what we're looking for are the boxes. So you could have one starting one and then 9 other boxes. You can basically we're very
Okay.
open to it. So
So it could go either way, though, want it out.
yeah, you could it could
Sorry.
go no, that's fine. You could go from one to 9 different endings, excuse me, all in one thing. That's cool. This is up to you. You can do more if you want, and I suggest it because a lot of people have fun on that assignment.
I'm not going to lie, I've been wanting to write my own Choose Your Own Adventure since I was a kid, so I'm going to go crazy.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I know. A lot of people absolutely enjoy this assignment, and I'm very happy with it because it's um, a great way to kind of map out your stories. Yes, Josh is correct. It doesn't have to end in a different ending. You could, you know, you know, pull a Mass Effect and re go back to another one there. So yeah, you can have 10 different ways of reaching it. It's up to you. You use as many as you want, as long as it also has 2 random events inside of it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Very happy that you asked. Also, remember when you're turning in, it's kind of important that you do it this way. So let me go ahead and fire this up, and then we get to wait a while opens mine because I have a lot of stories in there right now. Greg, would you like me to unmute you so you can ask the rest of yours? All right. Well, what's your question? Okay. All right. That's cool. Uh, yes. Yes. Yeah. This was what we did yesterday on campus. I just put out there. Asked them what the name of the story wanted to make. So basically, I just used it as an example. So yes, Steve did. That's kind of uh, we're also at home watching Star Trek Enterprise, and um, yeah. Okay. Yes, you are slightly limited. Just make it sure it's M-rated or less. So as in game stuff. So um, slash while entertaining is probably not appropriate for class. So all right. So what I'm going to do is going to show you a few things here. So we have a few of these here. Our link, and let's see. Here we have a random event. So it's either, and it contains two links here. The first one here and the second one here. Your links are really anything that you're randomly choosing. Yeah, any random things that you're going to have it choose between need to be in quotes and then separated by commas. So you can have any number of ones. Yes, Josh is correct. If it would make a promiscuous person blush, probably no go. Yes. Uh, so yeah. So yeah, it's oh yeah, I was going to show you how to make sure you properly turn this in. Okay, so let's start here. All right, so let's say we're going to turn this in. What you're going to do is you're going to go over here to Archive and hit the Archive button. Imagine that, right? And what it's going to do is it's going to create an HTML file. That's not really an HTML file. It's just labeled that way. All right, so we've got that. And I'm going to drop this on my desktop just so it's easier to see. Well, maybe. We'll see. So we're on our desktop, and the proper way to name this is your last name underscore, wow, caps lock still, underscore and twine2. All right, it's going to save as HTML. That's fine. So we're going to hit save on that, and it's going to put it out there. Now, here's the thing. Don't worry if you can't see it. So let me go and minimize all this stuff here. Close that out. No. All right, so we have the file right here. So if I double click on this, it's not going to show anything. And that's fine, because this is not a true HTML file. Yeah, it's exactly. Josh is correct. It's a file. It's a text file that's not quite an HTML file, but it's labeled HTML. And here's the important thing. You have to compress it. So you right click on it and choose send to compressed folder. The reason why we do this is because FSO does not accept HTML files. I think they said it was a security threat. So instead of dealing with that, we just compress it, and then later we'll when we get to grading your stuff, we open them all up and import each one at a time and read through your stuff. Now, we may not sit there and read every single thing, but we're going to look through it at least a little bit to make sure everything's okay. Hypertext, there is some in. You can use HTML actually. You can use hypertext markup language inside of your stories. Yes. Yeah, and there's all kinds of stuff here. Let's see. Last month, do I have it on here? I'm not sure I have it on here. Nope, don't. I must have had to clean it out. It took too long to open. All right. Do we have any other questions? Obviously 42, Josh. All right. Yes. All right. Jessica, you're gonna have a lot more fun when you move on. We've got a bunch of other people here uh, that are going to be teaching you all kinds of things. Remember, I'm just a programmer. I'm here to kind of get you working with stuff. What's really cool is you got some people coming up, like Dax Gazaway. He's a game designer. He actually worked on a few games. If you've ever played, for example, um, the PS2 Star Wars pod racing game. Uh, he was a designer on that. He also did the voicing of it for the yeah, just the PS2. He's also in the remake of it too. He was the race announcer. Um, I think I can find that. Maybe go to. I think I might have it in here. Um, I think that's was it here. Um, yeah, I think this might be it. Here, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit so we don't have to wait because it still does take a while to load.
This is Dax Gazaway here on Tatooine for the start of this season's Galactic Pod Racing Championship. Good to be back in Mos Espa, my hometown, by the way, and it's a beautiful day. The suns are shining and the crowd is ready for some spectacular pod racing action. It's been almost 8 years since Anakin Skywalker's incredible upset over the past champion, Sebulba.
But yeah, he's worked on games like that and all kinds of other ones. We just got a new guy who came from Volition, which is really cool. You're gonna get to meet him in a little bit as well. He, I think, is in one of the yes, he worked on that game actually, or on that series. He's just now starting with us, so this is his first month. I think he did work on Red Faction as well. You'll have to ask him. But yeah, we got all kinds of stuff going on. So you got a lot of people. You're going to meet some crazy characters and things like that. So um, definitely look forward to the stuff there. So yeah, we have all kinds of things. It's really cool. So I can't wait to see what you guys start making. Next week, we're actually going to start on. We're going to start working with Unity, and Unity is really really cool. It's all kinds of fun. One of the things I suggest is to kind of make your life a little bit easier. If you get a chance to, start reading through stuff, we go to lynda.com. So I'm going to take you through their way to do this. So we're going to go in through connect.fullsail.edu. So all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to find library right here. So go to library, and then we're going to, no, not library. Sorry. I go up here to search. I was thinking something else, sorry. Lynda.com. So we're going to go to the first one here. The reason why we're going through this is because it allows you to have the premium version of it for free. Yes, you do. Yeah, so if you sign in through here, it gives you the full version of it. So take advantage of this. It's really cool. Mine just went ahead and skipped through a bunch of stuff that you'll see, only because I've been here quite a few times. So what you're looking for here is the up and running with C#. All right, so this is what it is right here.
Hi, I'm Jerry O'Brien.
All right. Don't operate heavy machinery while watching this. Sorry, it's just the way it is. It's a little. It can be dry, so don't watch it all at one time because you're not going to absorb everything. But it's very good. It does have everything that you need, and you can learn the basics of C#, which is a programming language, in like 4 hours. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think it's just over 4 hours. I can't see that right now. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, 3 hours and 16 minutes. And what's really cool is you can skip some of this. Like, for example, you don't need the welcome. You don't need the what you should know. You should have a heartbeat in a computer, basically. If you need the exercise files, you can watch that. User challenges, you can learn that. That's like a minute, a little over a minute there. You don't need to see the brief history of C#. Not important. Installing it, not an issue, because actually I'm going to have you do something. I have you install Unity. Basically, get Unity and it'll install Visual Studio. So what I suggest is starting right here, is introducing Visual Studio. All right, and go all the way down. I'd suggest going to the end, but you could stop before you get to the Windows apps in C#. You don't really need to know how to do a Windows phone, but what would be really cool is making a Windows application, right? You should install Visual Studio. You should install Unity on the Windows side, and you can do that. You can get it from unity3d.com. All right. So, and then you just hit Get Unity Now from here and get the free version. And you just hit Download Now, and that's going to download stuff. Actually, I can kind of show you on here a little bit of it. So I'm going to hit Download Installer. Of course, you're going to keep that file. Lovely file name, right? So I'm going to click on this. Answer yes to the question. And we're going to hit next on here. And we're going to give them their like 20th born child at this point, right? All right, so we're going to hit next on that. Make sure it's 64-bit. Hit next on that. All right, so here are the things that you want. You want Microsoft Visual Studio. If you've installed it before, it's going to say Visual Studio Tools for Unity. Check that and check the example project. Anything else is up to you. Yes, you can build for Android right off the bat. If you have an iOS license to develop for iOS, you can do that from here. Although you'll need to be on your Mac side for that, and it's a kind of a pain in the ass. tvOS, same thing as iOS. You can do Linux and Mac builds. And if you're really smart and kind of adventurous, you can actually build for the PS1. I'm not PS1, for the Xbox One. But that's beyond the scope of this course. So once you install this, and that's going to take a while, don't wait to the last minute to do it. Go ahead and start it tonight. Then, start tonight before you go to bed. Just make sure it's running beforehand. And here's the key thing that you need to do. Before you do this install, you need a reboot. Then after you reboot, you need to check for updates. So you need to check for Windows updates. So you go to Start, Settings, and we're going to go here to, I'm going to maximize this, Update and Security, and you're going to hit Check for Updates. All right, so it's going to run through that. Make sure that there are no updates. So do this maybe once or twice to confirm that there are no updates. And then, of course, it's going to install updates when it needs to. When that's done, reboot one more time. All right, and then start the Unity install. Because if there are any Windows updates in the queue waiting to download, your install will fail. That's because they're installing Visual Studio, and Visual Studio ties very deeply into your operating system. All right. So run the Unity installer, get everything up and running, and then go watch that that video, or those videos I was telling you about on Lynda. So you'll have Visual Studio installed. You'll be able to follow along with the video. And if you do that now, you're going to be ahead not only for next week's lecture, but you'll also be ahead when you get into PGF 1, Programming Foundations 1. So you're going to learn a little bit of C#, but it's good to get ahead and start, right? All right. Any other questions that you'd like to ask? African or European? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to go ahead and post this recording as soon as that's done encoding, and both go through training, and then when I have to send it up to YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, again, I apologize again for last week. Stuff happens sometimes. So, all right. Again, if you have any issues like that maybe the instructor over your section can't handle, or maybe they're not getting to you in time, feel free to email me, dmalcolm@fullsail.com. I'll go ahead and type that out here on the thing. Actually, I'm just going to do it here so everybody can see it. All right. I don't foresee you having that problem, but if it is, things come up. We have an intestinal thing going around, so we've lost a few for the week, so it's okay, Jessica. You sounded fine. All right, so yeah, if you have any questions that your instructor can't answer, or go ahead and fire me off an email. I can't guarantee I'll get to it very quickly. I have a huge on-campus course class this month, so they have me working like crazy to take care of that. So I will check back as often as I can. But your first line of defense is your section leader, basically. If you look at the top, you'll see their name, and most of them you'll even have a picture. So give people nightmares regularly. I try my best. All right. Well, this sounds like a perfect time to zip off. So you have a nice night, and see you in the future. Yep. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Bye-bye.